Hey guys, just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about some nutrition. And some of you guys do have macros. You guys have listened to this talk before, but I wanted to just make another talk for all our new clients who are going to start up their nutrition, who are not sitting down with me personally to talk about this. So this is just going to be a guide on what we think about nutrition, how you're going to follow your nutrition plan, and what to do. So there's a couple things first. First off, I want you guys to download the app. It's called MyFitnessPal. And so it's this little Under Armour symbol right here. Sorry, that's kind of hard to see. So when you fill that out, you're going to create a profile and you're going to enter in, it's going to ask you a ton of questions. Just enter in whatever you want. It's going to ask you how fast you want to lose weight, how much you weigh, your height. So fill in all those things that are true, like your weight, your height, all that kind of stuff. But it's going to ask you how fast you want to lose weight, how many pounds per week. You can put in whatever you want for that one because we're going to put in our own custom macros. And I would suggest getting the premium version, which I think is like $60, $50 per year. And it's definitely worth it because what we're going to be doing, especially during this time, is some carb cycling. I like doing carb cycling no matter what. Oops. Let me close this out real quick. I like doing carb cycling no matter what, but you have to have the premium version if you are going to do the carb cycling. There's another option for that I'll talk to you about if you don't want to buy the $50 a year for the MyFitnessPal. But so what we're going to do is after you download that, you want to set up everything so that you're set up on the MyFitnessPal. And then from me, you are going to get a sheet that looks like this. So I calculated this guy out. This is going to be for my macronutrients. And what you guys can see is we run these based off of your InBodies that you guys did. We can run them, we can do this without InBodies, but when we do the InBody, it gives us a little bit more information about you, like your basal metabolic rate. It gives us your lean body mass, which is how we set our protein. But then we just plug in some different things on the formula, how active we are, what you're going to be doing, how many times a week you're training in here, and what kind of training that you are going to be doing. So we create these macros for you guys, and what this is going to look like, and I'm going to show you guys right here. So here's my stuff. I entered in all my things right here. So there's 2 different days. There's going to be a day that you have in the blue, and there's going to be a day that you have in the green. So the blue is going to be marked off as your training day. So when you're training, you need more calories, you need more food. You also need more carbohydrates, and those are going to be kind of put around the workout too as well. So when you guys have those, so once you guys have those that I send you, what you're going to do, and I'm going to show you on the app. So here's on my app right here. So if I have an iPhone, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the very top, and I'm going to keep clicking until it brings up one of these pages right here. On the top it says macros. So then you're going to scroll down to this little part that has the blue, and then you're going to click on the blue again. It's going to bring up this little area where I can actually custom enter in my calories and my percentages and how many grams and what my calories are going to be. So on this page, if you guys have the premium version, I want you guys to set that as grams so that you can just put in the grams of whatever I gave you. So mine will be carbohydrates. It's 180 grams, so I'd go to the carbohydrates. I'd scroll that, so it says 180. Fat is 59 for me. I'd go to the fat, put it at 59 grams. Protein, I'd go 206, and then that already sets your calories. If you guys don't have the premium version, then you can only set it by the percentages, which this will have the percentage. So what you'll do is you'll click on it, it'll have a scroll, you'll put in the percentage, and then you're going to put in the calories, and then that's going to give you the breakdown of the grams. So if you have the premium version, which I do suggest, is you guys can go to the bottom and it says set daily goals. So this guy down here in the green is going to be your rest days. So those are the days where you're not working out or you're just doing even like cardio conditioning. Those are not going to be your weight training days. So let's say you're going to go for a run and be active or go for a hike on the weekend. Those are what we consider more of an active rest day. So those are the macros you're going to follow. So you would plug that in. You would think about your week. If I'm going to weight train Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to have the ones in the blue set up for Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The ones in the green would be my Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. So I'll have some lower days with lower carbohydrates and lower calories, and those are the days I would set here. So you're going to have 2 different days. You want to set that up so that it automatically, when you wake up, it already preloads it, so you don't have to be changing it back and forth, back and forth. Now, if you don't have the premium version, you will have to change it every day, so you're going to have to keep this sheet available so that you can change those. So once you have those guys entered in, you will start tracking your food. So on the very top, it's going to tell you, and actually I should tell you this, if you guys don't have an iPhone, if you guys have a Droid, you guys are going to have to scroll to the bottom where it says nutrition, click on that, and it would bring up that page where you're going to hit macros, click on the blue, and it'll take you to that page. Okay, so what you're going to do now is you're going to start tracking your food. So it already entered in how much food you should be having as far as calories, protein, fats, carbohydrates. Now, my suggestion if you're new to this is just to start entering in all the food that you've already eaten. So you have your numbers and it's going to be like a puzzle. So for instance, I have 100 carbohydrates today, 35 fat, 200 protein, and this is my low day. I'm not doing much today besides just working, but no working out. So I'm actually at 1,500 calories, which is extremely low for me because before all this stuff happened with the COVID-19, I was doing a photo shoot. So I am still on track for that. So when this is done, I'll still be photo shoot ready. But my calories fluctuate between 1,500 and 2,600. So everybody's going to be different based off of your in-body and what your goal is. So very low food today. What I did is I tried to actually do intermittent fasting, which I had just starting right now when I'm making this video. It's 12 o'clock, so I'm going to start eating now. So right before I started this video, I had a protein bar. So I already had, once you guys have a couple different options, you can manually enter it. So I had a Fit Crunch bar. So if I plug that in, I'll put Fit Crunch. And then since I've already had it, it'll already pop up. It says the macronutrients. I'm going to click this button at the top. It's going to put that in my macros now, and now I can see it. It just subtracted food. So if I click on that and I keep it on the nutrients page, it's going to tell me what my total that I've had for the day, what my goal is, and then what I have left. So this is where it becomes a puzzle. So if you're new to this, just start tracking all your food so you can see how much protein you actually eat, how much carbohydrates you eat, how much fat, and how many calories. Then from there, we can start moving stuff around to get you to the numbers that we gave you. And the other thing, if you want to enter in, the best thing to do is if you're buying food, let's say you go to Costco and you buy steak or chicken, you're going to do add food, and then there's a little button up here, and that is going to open up so that you can scan the barcode. The barcode scanner is huge because then you can just scan it. You don't have to sit there and search for it and try to figure out what it is and put Costco chicken, this is the brand, this. Just scans it right in. What you'll have to do is you'll have to enter the amount. So I suggest buying a food scale because after you cook your chicken, you can actually weigh it and say, okay, this is 5 ounces, and then it's true, and you'll plug that right in. What I usually do is if I'm buying bulk food to cook throughout the week, because I like to have a set base meal plan, which you guys should have too as well, then I know all my Tupperwares of chicken that I cooked are 5 ounces, my steak, and then those are something that I can just grab and go, and I don't have to worry about weighing it out, and I know exactly what it is. So all your foods, you want to start scanning it in there, you want to start putting in there because it builds up this history. So if I click on add food, these are all the foods that I eat, and I can scroll for a long time, and you can see that it builds that up. So once you have it in there, it's saved, and if you eat the same kind of foods, you'll be able to find it real quick. Okay. So what we want to do is walk through your whole day and just start tracking all your food. So let's say for lunch, what do I have at the house right now? I have shrimp, so I have frozen shrimp. So I'm going to start doing the shrimp, and I'm probably going to do 6 ounces. So there's my shrimp that I found. I put in the serving size. I click that. So then I can kind of look to see like, okay, I only have 19 grams of fat left. My carbohydrates is 73, and I have 146 grams of protein. I need to start eating a lot more protein because that's going to be hard to get. So what we do have is, especially for those ideas like, whoa, what has protein? What's carbohydrates? What is fat? We created this list for you. This is going to be a cheat sheet list. We will give you a sheet of this when You guys are on our app too as well, so I'll just upload those. So if you go to our app and go to the file section, you'll be able to see all these, and you can actually download them and print them out. So this one is our cheat sheet, the most bang for your buck foods, but it also shows you guys that there is a big difference between foods. So when you think about protein, obviously think about meat. So if I were to go and look at ground beef at a 90-10 ratio at 4 ounces, it's almost 30 grams of protein, but it's 13 grams of fat. And then if I looked at chicken, 4 ounces, 35 grams of protein, 4 grams of fat. So it's more protein and it's a lot less fat. So earlier I said that I only have about 19 grams of fat left. So if I eat that ground beef and I only eat 4 ounces, I'm going to get 30 grams of protein, but I'm going to almost use all my fat because that's 13 grams right there. So I have to, basically, because that protein bar that I had already had a lot of fat in it, I don't have a lot of fat for today. So today I'm going to have to eat leaner sources of meat. So as far as leaner sources of meat, if it's white, it's leaner. So chicken, turkey, shrimp, even fishes, white fishes, those are going to be your leaner. Those are going to be your leaner options. Anything red is going to be higher fat. So your beef, and there's different kind of cuts of beef. So like sirloin would be a lot leaner than like a ribeye. Ground beefs, even salmon, it's red, so it has higher fat. So you want to use this to kind of see like, okay, I can't just eat my whole day of red meat because I'm going to go over my fats. So if I wanted to have a serving of beef, then I'm going to have a serving of chicken. Then I'm going to have maybe some shrimp. So you're going to have to rotate those two as well. So use this as a cheat sheet as you're plugging it in, figuring out the ounces. On this, it has a lot of different things besides just meat. So for those of you who don't like meat, there's eggs, egg whites, there's Greek yogurt. I love eating Greek yogurt, and what I do to help boost my Greek yogurt is I put a collagen protein into it. So the collagen protein I get is from Costco. 2 scoops of it is 18 grams, and it's tasteless powder that mixes right into it. So when I do make that Greek yogurt, now I know I'm boosting my Greek yogurt. I think when I do my Greek yogurt, because I do 2, it's about 30 grams of carbohydrates and about 30 grams of protein. So if I put in a scoop of that, it's adding another 9. So I'm getting pretty close to 40 grams of protein in that. So you want to use proteins to put in foods. You can use it as a protein shake. It's going to have about 25-30 grams per 1 scoop. So you definitely want to use that to help hit your protein. There's turkey, there's string cheese on here, so there's a lot of different options. So use this to help start building your meals. If we go to the next page, there's going to be a fat one. Fat one is huge because fats are not created equal. If you're using oils, I think the oils come in at, let's see, oils are at 14. So if you're cooking with coconut oil, olive oil, any kind of oil, butter, those are for 1 tablespoon. It's going to be 14 grams. You want to make sure you guys put that in there. A lot of times clients don't put that in there. They'll make an omelet. They put a tablespoon of butter. They just do the eggs or whatever they threw in there. You just got 14 grams of fat. That's a lot of calories because 1 gram of fat is total to 9 calories. So those are your big calorie jumpers. So you want to use this list. You never want to get in the mindset that, so I'll give you an idea of, we're going to look at the difference between almonds and avocados. Those are here at the top. So almonds at 1 ounce is 6 grams of protein, so it has protein, and then it's at 14 grams of fat. Avocado, it only has, the protein is 0.6, so it doesn't have a lot. And this is at the same 1 ounce serving, but the fat content is 4. So there's a big difference because almonds had 14, this has 4. It's 10 grams difference, which is 90 calories. So you never want to get in the mindset like, okay, I always eat avocados in my salad. I forgot it. I'm just going to sub it out for almonds. Fat's a fat. It's not. It has different values in there. So you always want to be measuring those things out. You always want to be tracking those things. So for the fat list, you're looking at nuts, nut butters, oils, cheeses, creams like heavy whipping cream. One of my favorites is sausage. They don't even consider sausage a protein because it has more fat than it does actually protein into it. So you want to use these to kind of spread out throughout your day too. The 2 hardest macros to hit for most clients, number 1 is always protein. You have to have a good amount of protein, especially if you're losing weight. You don't want to be muscle sparing. You want to keep your muscle mass. And if you're building muscle too as well, you want to have a good nitrogen balance throughout the day. So you always want to go for your protein. Protein is number one. A lot of clients have a hard time with hitting those fats too as well. So use this list. The one that's very easy for clients to hit is carbohydrates. Most people love carbohydrates, and there's carbohydrates in almost everything. So this next page is going to be your grains, and this is your slow acting GI carbohydrates. So what that means is not spiking insulin huge. So more sugary stuff, like we'll talk about here in a minute, is going to be like fruits. Those will spike insulin. So as far as the starches and the grains, these are going to be like your beans. This is going to be corn, quinoa, oats, pasta, squashes, tortillas. Those are going to be your low GI. Same thing, they're all different serving sizes, and they all have different amounts of carbohydrates. So on here, just looking at the list, there's a half of a cup of, let's go barley dry, 66 grams of carbohydrates for half of a cup, versus if you're doing Ezekiel bread, it's 15 carbohydrates. It's a big difference. So you don't want to get into that zone where, oh, I'm just switching out one serving of starch for another. It's going to be about the same. It's not even close to the same. So you want to make sure you guys track that stuff. The next one that I talked about is going to be your fruits. So these are the high-acting carbohydrates. These will spike insulin. So the best time to use these is post-workout. So that's why it's real popular in gyms where you always see they always have like the smoothie bar where you can have protein and you can have fruits. Because when you work out, you're insulin sensitive. So you want to shuttle those carbohydrates that you just used, that you just burned off while you're working out. You want to be able to get those in your system real fast. So if you eat those sugary carbohydrates, you're going to get those in your system a lot faster. So I'm going to make a little bit of nutrient timing right now. These are going to be best for post-workout. You also don't want to mix these with fats. Fats slow down the absorption rate of carbohydrates. So since we're trying to get these in your system real quick, make sure that you have these with no fats. Whereas with the grains, like if you're going to go into a workout, and let's say you're going to have some kind of protein source, you're going to have some rice, mix that with some fats, because that fat is going to slow down the absorption process of those carbohydrates. So when you're going into your workout, you're going to have slow, sustainable energy going through, but then after you want to shuttle it real quick. So those are going to be your sugary ones. Then we have another category of carbohydrates, which is going to be your veggies. So these are fibrous sources. They're very low as far as carbohydrate goes. So if you're following more of like a keto diet, you're going to be eating a lot of this because you're still going to get carbohydrates, but it's going to be a fibrous source. You want to have this no matter what diet you're on. You want a lot of protein, or unless you're a vegan or a vegetarian. But the staples of, because you get a thermogenic effective food, so that thermogenic effect, so you're actually burning calories while you eat these, are going to be higher for fibrous source of carbohydrates like vegetables, and also with proteins. So it's a very small list that we give you guys right here. These you can eat all the vegetables you want. Make sure you still track them though. In this case, a carbohydrate is a carbohydrate, so you want to be tracking it. Don't just think like, oh, I'm going to eat a ton of broccoli throughout the day and it's a vegetable, so it doesn't count. We still count those towards it. We don't do anything with the net carbohydrates. So this is your list that you guys are going to use as your cheat sheet. This is going to help you as you guys are plugging stuff in to the app. And the biggest thing with nutrition is we don't have a specific nutrition plan that you guys have to follow. When you come to Turning Point, it's not, we follow paleo and this is why you have to be keto or you have to be vegan. We work with everybody where they're at. So in our gym, we have all the diets. We have intermittent fasting, we have keto, we have vegetarians, we have, you name it, we have it. We have people that do intermittent fasting and keto. So what we do is we just control calories in versus calories out, and we set you up bases, and we can manipulate how much carbohydrates we want you to have when. And the reason we do the 2 different days is because we want a calorie deficit when you're not using your energy. When you're not doing as much, you should have lower calories. When you got to wake up, grind, go get your workout, we want you to be fueled for that. So you can almost think of it like when you drive your car, as you fill up on Sunday, as you drive it through the week, you're depleting. Maybe it's Wednesday, you have to fill back up. It's the same thing what we're doing with your body. What you're doing is you're coming in, you're fueled for your workout. Tuesday's a lower day, coming up, but by the end of the week, you're kind of going down low. So with our nutrition plans, we want you to follow it on path for at least 2 weeks before we even start talking about cheat days, cheat meals, which I'll talk about here in a second. There's going to be different parameters for that. But with these plans, these aren't strict plans where you have to eat this food at this specific time and you can only follow the stuff on this. So I'll give you an example. I have 2 kids. They love Dion's, they love Wendy's, they love different restaurants. So if they want to eat those, I will plan those into my macros. So what I do is I actually go through and I build my day backwards. If I know that my kids want to have Wendy's, maybe I'll get a chicken sandwich. I'll put that in for my dinner. So it already subtracts everything. And then I know, okay, this is what I have to do. This is what I have to eat like so that I can have that Wendy's or that Dion sub or whatever I'm having for dinner. And I can still be within my range and hit all my macros. So what I want you guys to do is to build a base plan. Put in foods that you like. Start switching stuff up. Get a plan where your number one is going to be where you're hitting your calories, because it's calories in versus calories out. Then you want to go for your protein. Then you want to go for your fat. Then you want to go for your carbohydrates. Get as close as you can. You want to build your base nutrition plan. Foods that you like, maybe changing the serving sizes that you have, how much of something, maybe you need more of something. Figure out what's going to hit those numbers and then stay consistently on that. So you're building your own nutrition plan. The reason we're not going to give you a specific nutrition plan is because you don't want to follow that all the time. You're going to want different foods. You're going to get burnt out. You don't want to show up to social events with your Tupperware. You got to learn how to eat within your portion control and what foods you need to be eating for your goals. So start putting in the foods that you eat. Let's start looking at it to see what changes we need to make. We want good whole sources. It's hard to process some of this, or it's hard to track some of the processed foods in there. If you go out to restaurants, MyFitnessPal is a huge database where you can actually plug in restaurants and you can find what you want. So if I want to go to Starbucks, I can actually find pretty much all their drinks. They have like 500. Last time I checked, there was like 528 items that you could use, and you plug that guy in. Also, remember, track your guys' drinks. A lot of times people will be not losing weight and they're having Starbucks twice a day and they don't actually realize what's in their Starbucks, and you're going over your macros. And it can be 200-300 calories, which is keeping you at that basically plateau where you guys aren't losing weight. So track all your foods and drinks. Anything that has calories, you want to add in there. With the app too as well, turn off any trackers that you guys have if you guys are using your Apple Watch, because if you have a tracker, what it's going to do is we already created a deficit, and so it's going to tell you that you need to eat more food because you burned, 400 or 500 calories for that workout, so it's going to try to add that 400 calories to it. So make sure you turn that feature off. Turn off the steps feature too as well, because we don't want it doing the same thing, saying, oh, you did 10,000 steps, so you need 1,000 more, or not 1,000, like 100 more calories. It'll take away the deficit. If it asks you to weigh in, don't weigh in, because it'll automatically reset for whatever we sent you. So keep that file. We always have it on file here too, whatever we make you, so that we can do progressions. This is a baseline. So what we need to do is we just need you to adhere to this for a couple weeks. Your metabolism will change pretty quick. That way we can see, did you lose weight? Did you gain weight? Did you move at all? Did you lose too fast? What happened composition-wise, so that we know what changes we need to make. So if we can have a good stable plan, then we know where to go in the future with this. So make sure you guys are on track with that. Let us know too, because we need at least like 2 weeks of adherence to this, and then we can start switching stuff up and changing things. So like I said, there's no food that's off limit with this, but portion control. And if you love something but you keep eating it and you keep going out of your macros, you might have to stop eating that or save it for a different day. If you love eating ice cream and you have like a low calorie day, specifically low carbs, and you eat the ice cream and you just used it all, maybe you should keep that for your training day. And then maybe you should keep that for after post workout, because it has sugar in it. So you're going to have to change some things around, but it gives you a lot of options to start learning how to track your food. So how we think of a nutrition, or I hate the word diet, but how we think about nutrition is most people will give you a plan and you take your life and you try to stick it into that plan of, I have to eat this at this time with this schedule. So we want your food to fit into this. We're not telling you how many times you have to eat. We're not telling you like the specific things you have to eat. We're just telling you that you have to get these calories and we have to get all those macronutrients in throughout the day. So if you're intermittent fasting and you only have an 8-hour window, there's your macros that you have to hit during that window. If you're spreading it out throughout a whole day, there you go. Start planning your food. Be mindful of your stuff. It's going to be a little bit eye-opening once you start tracking stuff. For my day-to-day, like I said, I'm not doing anything today, so mine are really, really low. It's 1,500 calories today. If I went to Applebee's and I ordered off of their appetizer, just one appetizer, I'm looking at 1,500 calories. And the last one I looked at was their spinach and artichoke dip, and that was 120 grams of just fat. My fat for today, actually I think mine on my macros is 35. So that's eating enough for like 4 days of my fat. So be mindful of when you go out, because those are packed. If you guys go to like Cheesecake Factory, it actually says the calories on there. When you start looking at that and you're like, okay, I have 1,600 calories today, and you look at those meals that's one meal that's like 1,900 calories, and it's easy to see why people put on weight, because that's one meal, and then they're going to go to another restaurant, and that's an easy Sunday where they went out like twice to go get food, and they're eating 3,000 calories, and they probably don't even know it. You ask most clients like how much they eat, and they're like, oh, I don't know, 1,800, and then you start tracking their food and putting it in there, and you're like, no, you eat double that. So be mindful of everything. Start tracking your food. You guys are going to have questions. We're here for you. You guys can ask whatever questions you have. This is not working. I can't fit it in. I don't know how to use this. How do I change things? Any question you have, just start asking so that we can start changing it over. What we can do too as well is we can become friends on there, so I can actually see your food. You can see my stuff. So you're going to find us on this app, which we're going to be, so if you go to we're going to be Turning Point Gym. Oops. So you want to go to this page, which is my home page. This is just my main more page right here. So what you'll do is you'll slide down. You're going to go to the friends. So these are all of our clients that is going to pop up. So I'll be able to go through and I can click on any client and see what they're doing. But what you want to do is you'll do this top the little plus sign right there. You're going to do email MyFitnessPal name. That's where you're going to put our name into it. Send that invite. We'll get that invite. Like I said, it's Turning Point Gym. If you guys want to connect with us, there's no spaces or anything, just straight through. Then you guys have to go to your settings page. You're going to go to where it says sharing and privacy. You want to go to diary sharing. Click on the friends only, get that set. So that means that, one, you can go see my foods and what I'm eating and see how that works. Two, you can ask me, say, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. I can go look at your stuff. I can add it all up and say, like, this is where you're struggling. This is where we need to back off. This is the stuff that we need to change too as well. If you cook at home a lot and you're like, I can't find these, I make recipes, how do I do it? Super easy. So what you're going to do is if I'm going to add a food, I'm going to go to, let's just go to my dinner. There's going to be all these little guys recipes on the very top. So these are the recipes I've created. So if you want to create one of those, what you'll do is, let me go to my day, that little plus sign right there at the top, it's going to give you all these little options. So if I clicked on the create a recipe one, it's going to pop up. It's going to ask me, am I adding this from the web? So I can take a website and I can actually put it in there. Or if I'm going to enter in the ingredients manually. So let's say the title, Steve's Enchiladas. I'm going to make some chicken enchiladas. So I'll put that down. Serving size, I'm just going to guess right now. Let's say 8. I'll plug that in. Import the bulk ingredients right here. So I'm going to scan my chicken. I'm going to say, okay, for this whole thing, I'm going to use 12 ounces of chicken. Here's my corn tortillas. I'm going to make 8 different little rolls of the enchiladas. So I scan those in, or I put that I'm going to use those corn tortillas. These are the creams I'm going to use. This is the ingredients I'm going to use. I plug all that in. After I make it, comes out of the oven, I'm going to say, okay, well, I'm going to do 2 little rolls, so it's 4 serving sizes. So I'm going to go back and change the serving size. It'll break that down. I'll save it. If you have family members, you can send it to them, say, here's the recipe. You go to your day, you would click on it. So let me show you that. So if I go to, here's my lunch. So it's got that shrimp. Click on that little guy right there. I can text it to somebody. Or if I was looking at your profile, I could click on that guy and I could say, oh, that was a good meal that they made. I want that. I'm going to save it to copy and date for me, and then I'll save it. So those are options. As you build friends on here, it's nice because you can have a community. If they make something and you're going to their house for dinner, they can share it with you. Or if you like how somebody else eats, or you're just not creative with meals, there's a lot of different options on here. Let's go to, okay. So if you do have the premium version, there's also this little guy right here that gives you guys can search for all kinds of meals. So here's one for high protein. So if you click on it, it tells you what the macros in, and you can just add that to your diary. Oops, sorry. Super easy right here. It tells you all the ingredients and how to make it. So if that's something that would fit, that you would want, it gives you all these recipes. So you have tons of stuff, low carb options, under 500 calories. You can look up dinners, you can look up breakfasts, you can look up lunches. You can put low sodium. There's so many options that people just created it in here. Very easy to add. You have your shopping list, you have your stuff, so go through that and you have unlimited resources of recipes. You like it, you can share it with a friend. They make one, they bring you that meal too as well. They can send you the macros. You just want to try to figure out, think of this like a puzzle. So you want to make sure that, like I said again, calories are your number one concern. You don't want to be going over those, and you don't want to be too far under. You want to come real close. If you put yourself too low in a deficit, you're going to do the opposite of what we want. If you go over calories, you can put on weight. If you're under calories, you can start eating lean mass, and you can actually start putting on body fat. You might lose the weight, but your whole composition is going to switch into something that we don't want. We don't want skinny fat, and we don't want you eating your muscle mass too as well. So play around with it. If you're new to this, just start tracking your stuff. Start looking at your numbers, see where you can make adjustments. Build yourself a plan. If you're like me and you're a robot and you can eat pretty much the same stuff all day, what I would do is I would go to my day tomorrow and I'd actually build my plan of, I want to eat chicken here, then I want to have a steak salad, then I'm going to have make some sweet potatoes. I eat pretty boring for the most part, but on the days that I'm not here, if I want to go eat out at Einstein Bagels, I'll find that, I'll put it in, I'll do whatever I want so that I can still hit my goals. So as far as cheat meals, you guys are allowed to have a cheat meal or an off meal, and that's going to be, I want you to follow it for 2 weeks so that we can get a good baseline of what's going on. And then from there, plan a cheat meal, but plan it into your macros. So if you're going to eat something at dinner time, plug it in, and then build your day backwards, because we still want you to maintain your goals, but have something that you're not used to. Have a hamburger. Go to Sonic and get a hamburger, or wherever you want, whatever you're craving, put that in, but make sure you eat light throughout the day, because we still, with a cheat meal, we don't want you going over your macros unless that's specifically something that we tell you. Sometimes we'll actually have you do refeed days where we're going to have you, say you're eating 200 grams of carbs a day, and we're saying, okay, today you're eating 400 and we want a cheat meal that you're not used to. But we'll let you know in that time when that's time for you to do that. Alcohol, I hate alcohol because it kills your gains. It lets you, so one drink will mess up your recovery for 4 days. It stops protein synthesis. It's useless calories. It increases your it just increases your heat production. So if you guys have had a night of drinking and you know you sleep terrible and you feel awful the next day, it's because you're putting a poison in your body. It's ethanol that has to break down, so anything that you consume with that automatically gets stored as fat, and then your body heats up so it can start burning through ethanol because it's a toxin to your body. So useless calories, but you can track it. And so say you're going to have a Bud Light, or you're going to have whatever your drink is, wine, if you like wine. Plug it in there. You can scan those and then plug it in there. Might mess up your macros a little bit, but you can use it towards carbohydrates. You can use it towards fats, but it's nasty stuff. And if you guys are really going to be making some changes, you guys might want to consider not drinking for a while so you can see those changes. You'll feel so much better and you won't be fighting yourself. If you're trying to get fit, you have goals. I feel like when you drink alcohol, it's like riding a bike with one tire that's flat. You can still go places, but it's a very, very slow process. So consider taking that out, but if not, still track it. Keep room for it. You have 30 grams of carbs and you want a glass of wine, well, you're going to sacrifice you eating 30 grams of carbohydrates so you can have your glass of red wine. That's just something that you're going to have to do where you can still maintain your goals. So if you guys have any questions, reach out to us. Hopefully this will help you get started on tracking those macros. I know during this time specifically with the coronavirus right now, that you're probably not moving as much, so you might have more days where you're falling that lower. This is okay when you're actually working out, getting outside. You use the higher days, so you can still come out great during this time. Once life gets back to normal, you can still make good gains right now. Everything is going to be through your nutrition. We're all stressed. Don't let that stress food take you out, or the excess of drinking. So if you guys have any other questions, just reach out to us. We'd love to answer those, or I'll see some friend requests, and that way I can go look at your guys' stuff. Hope you guys are having a good day, and we'll talk to you guys soon.